Is Boston about to gamble its future on minimum deals? The shocking reality behind the Celtics' off-season strategy. What if I told you the reigning NBA champions might enter the 2025-26 season not by upgrading their bench with firepower, but by scraping the bargain bin for veterans most teams won't touch unless desperate? Yes, that's the stunning possibility staring Celtics fans in the face. And it's not just smoke. As championship euphoria fades and the business of basketball kicks in, Boston is suddenly staring down a brutal off-season paradox. Plug multiple roster gaps. With virtually no financial wiggle room, a harsh salary cap reality, combined with the uncertainty of new ownership's spending appetite, means Brad Stevens may be forced into a role he's rarely had to play: budget scavenger. But here's the kicker. Names being floated aren't all-stars, rising prospects, or even elite role players. They're guys like Jae'Sean Tate and Taurean Prince. Solid? Sure. Game changers? That's debatable. And in a league where even a few bad possessions in the playoffs can swing a series, is solid good enough? Everyone loves a champion until the luxury tax bill arrives. With most of Boston's cap locked into its elite core, Tatum, Brown, Holiday, and Porzingis, the Celtics may have no option but to stack their bench with minimum contracts. But here's where things get uncomfortable. Minimum contracts don't win championships. They survive them. Brian Robb from Mass Live recently put forward Tate and Prince as realistic targets for this tight-budget scenario. On paper, it makes sense. Both are seasoned vets, familiar with defensive schemes, and capable of hitting the occasional open three. Prince, in particular, brings a steady 38% clip from beyond the arc, a valuable asset. But ask yourself this: if they were such easy fits for a contender, why are they available at minimum deals in the first place? And then comes the elephant in the room: injuries. Boston's depth was already tested last season. One sprained ankle or lingering calf strain, and suddenly you're relying on 33-year-old Taurean Prince to check Jimmy Butler in a Game 7. Think that sounds ridiculous? It's the exact situation that minimum signings force you into. The Celtics might be champions, but the NBA doesn't allow title defenses built on nostalgia or past glory. Every year, the margins shrink, every rival reloads, and the Celtics' current situation feels eerily similar to what happened with the Warriors post-2022. A championship high followed by a bench exodus and over-reliance on low-cost vets that couldn't hold up. Another overlooked factor? Chemistry. Prince and Tate are plug-and-play guys, but integrating them into Boston's complex switch-heavy defense won't be automatic. It took Derek White months to fully grasp Ime Udoka's scheme when he first arrived. Expecting newcomers to instantly perform at a finals level is unrealistic and risky. Here's the unpopular opinion. Maybe Stevens shouldn't chase veterans at all. Instead of padding the roster with older players trying to squeeze out another contract, why not double down on upside? Take a risk on a G League standout. Elevate a two-way contract. Dig for developmental gems with explosive athleticism or positional size. The cost is the same, but the ceiling might be higher. Because if you're filling holes with limited resources, why not aim for breakout potential instead of safe mediocrity? Tate and Prince might hold the fort, but they won't raise the roof. And let's not forget, Boston isn't just trying to survive the regular season, they're aiming to repeat. That takes more than role players. It takes surprise contributors. Who can swing a playoff game when your stars hit a wall? Will Stevens play it safe with familiar veterans? Or will he bet on the unknown and chase upside in unexpected places? Either path carries risk. One is conservative, the other, potentially franchise-defining. But let's be honest, minimum signings don't win banners. They just help you not fall apart. Al Horford to the Knicks. The Celtics' nightmare scenario no one saw coming. What if the player who helped define the Celtics' defensive identity, the veteran who bled green for nearly a decade, suddenly walked out the door and into the arms of their most hated rival? No, this isn't just wild speculation. This is real. And it could happen very soon. In a revelation that dropped like a bombshell, ESPN's Tim Bontemps casually mentioned on The Hoop Collective that Al Horford could be headed to the New York Knicks. Not just any team, the Knicks. One of Boston's oldest, loudest, and most bitter enemies. A team the Celtics could easily face in a future playoff battle. But why would Horford, the Celtics' seasoned floor general, locker room sage, and defensive anchor, even consider such a move? That's where the story gets uncomfortable. For years, Celtics fans have taken one thing for granted. When Horford retires, it'll be in green and white. After all, he's been more than just a role player. He's been the soul of this team, the veteran voice when emotions ran high, the strategic fulcrum in a switching defense, the calming presence in clutch moments. But what if all of that was based on an illusion? Horford is entering his 19th season, yes, but this isn't just a farewell tour. According to multiple sources, he still wants to win. And if Boston can't offer him the minutes, the role, or the paycheck, someone else will. Enter the Knicks. The rumor hinges not just on basketball logic, but personal ties. Horford has a long-standing friendship with Karl Anthony Towns, and the two have played together on the Dominican national team for years. With who? Towns potentially on the move to New York and Tom Thibodeau craving veteran stability. It suddenly makes sense. More than that, it feels inevitable. Here's what no one wants to say out loud. There is no next Al Horford waiting in the wings. The Celtics don't have a backup big with Horford's IQ, switchability, or floor spacing. Yes, Porzingis offers size and skill, but he's an entirely different archetype, and not one you can trust to log heavy defensive minutes or lead a young bench unit. Now imagine this. You're midway through a playoff series. Tatum's battling back from injury. Porzingis tweaks an ankle. Suddenly, the Celtics need someone to stabilize the front court, calm the tempo, and battle on the boards. And Horford is doing all of that. In a Knicks jersey, Boston wouldn't just lose a player, they'd lose an identity, a safety net, a leader. And they'd have to watch him possibly eliminate them from the playoffs with a team that spent years dreaming of overtaking them in the East. Let's talk dollars. Horford is worth more than the veteran minimum, and yet, that's likely all Boston can offer him without triggering deeper penalties under the new CBA. So the choice for Horford becomes painfully clear. Stay in Boston out of loyalty, take a massive pay cut, accept fewer minutes, and possibly a diminished role, or leave, get paid, start fresh, join a contender with real space for him in the rotation, reunite with a longtime friend in Towns, prove he's still got it, maybe even at Boston's expense. What makes this so gut-wrenching is that no one, not fans, not front office insiders, not even rival executives, had this on their radar. Horford leaving was unthinkable. Horford to the Knicks? Blasphemy. But now, the unthinkable is right there on the table. So the question Celtics fans need to ask is, what happens if the locker room loses its foundation? What happens if the franchise that finally got over the hump starts cracking at its emotional core? Because replacing stats is one thing. Replacing leadership, legacy, and loyalty, that's a different battle entirely.